Here we are on our way to a car show in Melbourne, Florida. As we sat at the light, I saw many motorcycles go by for some sort of rally, I guess. We arrived at Green Gables car show. This is a benefit. I will show more information at the end of the video all about Green Gables. Let's go check out the cars. This was actually the first car I saw when I approached the car show, a 1936 Ford sedan. This was a beautiful 1936 Ford sedan, unrestored. It's all original. It's a two-owner car, has original paint. Oh wow, that's very nice. Well, you're lucky to have it.
I know I am. I love it.
That's good. Thanks for showing it. This vehicle was purchased from the grandson of the original owner, and here's a picture of the original owner. This vehicle is said to be unrestored. This was a very cool Factory 5 Cobra. This is one of the Jeeps that were on the show MASH years ago. I even got a chance to sit in it. This was another cool car, a limousine. Can you imagine sitting in this? Talk about luxurious back in the day. It's always fun to get into the action. Check out this machine gun I've got. They had people selling raffle tickets and tickets to upcoming shows for benefits for Green Gables. Thank you to all the volunteers who were there today. This brochure was about Green Gables and the Wells family. They were selling tickets to a gala for Green Gables. I will list information in the description box for the upcoming events. This murder mystery dinner sounds like it would be a blast. Now to get back to the cars, let's check these out. If you're not a subscriber of my YouTube channel, this is the time to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. If anyone wants to buy a rat rod, this one's for sale. This 1950 Jaguar was sweet. What do you think of this truck? Isn't it gorgeous? All these cars gathered here today to help raise money for the Green Gable house. was owned by his fathers, bought new in 1971. All original, including the paint job.
Do it.
No, yeah?
Do it.
I heard that we could get in. Is there, oh, there's people waiting in line to
You
get
go
in?
over there and you sign up. It's a $10 donation. It all goes to the house.
Okay.
We're all volunteers.
Oh, good.
It was what they called a four square, just a box, four sides.
Was it?
Okay.
Yeah,
That's what they built in Melbourne in 1896. But Mr. Wells had a patent on rustless iron, basically a wrought
yeah.
iron kind of
Rustless
thing.
iron. No kidding.
Rustless iron.
Oh.
And in the education room, which is in the back, there's a lot of photographs of all of that. They kept adding on, which is one of the problems. They added the turret, which is typical Queen Anne.
Yep.
They added bedroom. This whole back section was added as like a mother-in-law suite. They put the kitchen in there. We're going to keep some of that, go back to what it was like about 1910 when it was pretty. With all restore the whole front porch, this turret. In fact, this thing had roll-up windows for
You did
hurricanes.
really, huh? Wow.
And some of the mechanisms
Amazing.
still there.
Wow.
Roll up windows, that's something else.
Yeah, big crank-up windows. This to cover the windows up in the octagon.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, what a location too, huh?
well, that's just it.
That's why
you
it's so
could see-
popular.
Yeah.
They would love to bulldoze that thing and just have this as, look at it. It's really,
It is. And
We
that's
have a
like the
problem.
beach side too. That's all you see.
they weren't going to let that happen here.
This is the view
Well, money talks.
from Green Gables.
We all know.
But do take the tour.
Of the Wells
There
family
was
lived
the
in this
last one,
house.
she lived here. There were people almost till 2004 when we had all those hurricanes come through here, and it really did a number on the roof, and so they bailed.
Oh,
Just
I
left
see.
it.
Yeah.
The family just walked away from it.
They walked away, and now you guys are survivors
We
of this.
bought it. We bought the property. It belongs to 501c3 nonprofit. So our goal is to pick the best looking version, which we think is about 1910, and then restore it. It'll be open. It'll be a public space.
That's unbelievable. Is there original furniture in here as well?
No, the family still has some odds and ends which they are slowly donating back. A lot of it's in storage because there's going to be a lot of parts where you won't be able to get in part of the house due to construction once we get to that.
Oh, thank you. This 1965 Factory 5 Roadster was my lucky duck pick. Gorgeous car. Let's hear what the owner has to say about it.
Over 15 years in the making.
Was
I
it?
bought it back in 2008 with the thought process I'd finish it in 4 years, but along comes
Yep.
life and tribulation
Wow.
and health issues and all that stuff. And finally, just before I retired, I was able to have somebody help finish it.
Awesome,
So
huh?
we finally got completed about 9 months ago.
Wow,
I'm
that's
still
it,
in
huh?
the process of doing the interior.
Yep.
I still have to build a setup for the for my stereo and stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
But other than that, it's
Yeah.
quite the baby.
It's
She's a dream, and your dream came true.
And I had a couple of buddies who were real grease monkeys
Yeah, no.
that fooled around with
Good to have.
drag cars and stuff.
Wow.
I always said to myself, one of these days I'm going to build myself a car. So here we are, 50 years later. My
Wow.
dreams come true.
Cool, huh?
So
That is
I'm
beautiful.
really excited.
If you're new to my videos and you don't know what my lucky duck pick is, at each car show I go through and pick my favorite vehicle. It could be with the story, it could be the vehicle, and I put a little rubber duck inside of it calling my lucky duck pick. And this Factory 5 Cobra was my lucky duck pick. Rich, thank you for showing your car. Now it's time to go take a tour of Green Gables. This is Green Gables, a historic riverview village in Melbourne, Florida. This house is located on 1.3 acres of riverfront green space. Green Gables is a sanctuary in the middle of the downtown Melbourne area. This property was purchased by a nonprofit, and it is raising money to restore this house back to the original.
Watch your step and enjoy your car.
Hello. Hi. Wow, look at the narrow staircase in there.
So welcome to Green Gables. My name's Edwina. I'm going to be your tour guide or your docent today. And you're standing right here at the porch of Nora and William Wells' home. This home was built by them in 1896. It has been on this beautiful bluff here for 128 years. And it came to be that they lived here in Florida as kind of winter residents, so typical of a snowbird type scenario. But the reason that they came south for the winter is because Nora's physician decided that it would be best for her to find warm weather because she would get pneumonia a lot. So they came from upstate New York. They came and lived actually in the Lake George area on an island called Crown Island. That's where they originally came from. Okay. So when they came south, they started looking for land in St. Augustine. They went all the way down to the Jupiter or Jensen Island area and decided to land here in Melbourne for two reasons. One, they felt that the people were the friendliest, and two, they loved the river. They were accustomed to being on the water with boats and fishing and all of that, so when Mr. Wells saw this river, he absolutely fell in love with it and decided that this is where he wanted to have his winter home. And so that's how we came to be here with all this.
The restoration of Green Gables is not just about preserving an old house from the wrecking ball. It is so much more than that. Green Gables is the historic home of the Wells family, one of the generous benefactors who played a key role in the development of the early Melbourne community.
For the guest, he would come up through the main or the front door instead of coming in the back way. But we, actually have to kind of preserve some of the settling that's going on there. It's a little sturdier to come in the back way. But this room being the reception room, now this room's diameter has not changed at all. And the reason I say that, 2 blocks on top of each other, and over the course of time, they decided to make the rooms bigger. And so when we go in the different rooms, I'll show you where the original room ended and then where the expansion took place. But this room has one of 2 fireplaces in the house. Both fireplaces are downstairs only. There's no fireplaces upstairs at all. So this one you notice is kind of on an angle. And the reason I point that out is because when we go into the other room, family, 4 generations to be exact, have lived in this house over the course of 1896 up until around the end of the 1990s. That's the last time anybody in the family or the family generations had lived here on their big trip. So the Wells were very wealthy. And so they were able to travel the world on their big trip. So the Wells were very wealthy. And so they were able to travel the world. You know, it's just teak wood, so it's very delicate. So that's just some of the features and things that they brought back from their travels. Kind of like you bring back souvenirs. Well, they were building a house and she liked that. So it's like, hey, let's get some of that and bring it back to our house.
Amazing.
So they did. The floors are
Ladies' parlor.
Ladies' parlor. Wow, look how bright this is. Oh, look at this lamp. Nice.
So you're gonna feel the floors a little mushy in here. That's because there was a big leak in the room above us, and we'll talk about that when we get upstairs. He was also gifted the money, and they actually founded Stanford University in California. So that's where her money comes from. Now his money, he actually was a metallurgist. He went to the Columbia School of Mining, and he patented a process called rustless iron. And what he did was the coating was inside of the iron pipes that brought drinking water into your home or any water. And so without that coating, the water would go through the iron pipe, you'd end up with rusted water or brown water. So that coating made him a tremendous lot of money because everybody wanted clean drinking water, and that was the process that happened. That's how that happened. American Foursquare on this side here. And then as we progress through time, you're going to see expansions. One of the first big ones was the kitchen. And then different things are added, such as the turret, which is Mr. Wells' room. And then some of these other bay out areas, which are the ladies' parlor. And then above us is Nora's bedroom. And they're kind of a mirror image of each other. So he did. And how he ran his electricity and his own current, because there was no FP&L back then, was to hook it up to a little turbine and generate enough current to run their lights. Back in those days, when you had any kind of a fan or even a light, it used to have like a screw-in type of a plug. It didn't look like this, okay? So when these kind of plugs came along, they had to create something to make an adapter. So good old Thomas Edison, this is his invention, created this little adapter so that you could twist that into the wall, and then you could take an old-fashioned socket and then convert it to a new.
Check these original hinges out on the doors.
This home was just built for the 5 people. Okay, it was mom and dad and the 3 children. So they really didn't have any use for a huge dining room. Their meals were here, and any entertaining that they did, so of course being from upstate New York, chances are they had, you know, family visit, just like most of us did when we first moved to Florida. Everybody's like, hey, we're gonna come visit, you know.
In restoring the interior, they're going to see if they can bring back the trim work that was painted over in some of the rooms.
Had a project. He was getting his degree in historical preservation. His name's John Daly, and he had found this house and realized the home itself being such strong ties to the beginnings of Melbourne, and the significance of that, the significance of the things that the family brought to the town, and said you can't take this house away. And so he fought to get it saved. So it is on the National Historic Register. It's also going to be renovated to the historic specifications. So we have a historic grant from the state of Florida. We need to be able to make sure that we use materials and colors that are appropriate, to the time. And then the architects and engineers that we hire also have to have special, certification in being able to do historic.
There is so much involved in restoring an old house, but the mission of Green Gables is to preserve this historical landmark in the surrounding green space known as Green Gables. This represents the legacy of the early developers of South Brevard, and to create there a living history museum and center for community engagement. hope you enjoyed this tour of Green Gables, and we're hoping to see it restored in the near future.